The ghost of Jimbo Fisher's contract isn't the reason that Texas A&M Sports, Inc. is stuck in quicksand. Jimbo Fisher, remember everyone? Jimbo Fisher's insane contract and even more insane buyout is not Trev Albert's fault. But, here's the but, because there's issues. But the awful scorecard for Aggie sports is on him, and the bad numbers and the listless brand is starting to stack up. It's unacceptable. You're going to say, well, who's Trev Alberts anyway, Jeff? All right, he's athletics director at Texas A&M, and things keep going from bad to worse to embarrassing. And it's a legitimate question. How long should he keep his job? I'm open to arguments that it's not, I'm not saying it's all his fault, but it's just, a few months ago, I posted a podcast and I said, I think the title was something like Texas A&M has a branding problem. And I got the usual blowback, the usual hate. It's just, I guess where I'm from and where I'm sitting, it's just not acceptable that, and I'm not allowed to criticize Texas A&M. I've not heard anyone say I'm wrong about this, but you just get that hate. They have a branding problem, but I think it's going deeper than that. The causes of the branding problem are stacking up, and their boss might be one of them. He's not the only reason, but he might be one of them. So let me double down and add to this. Yes, they have a branding problem. It's not a cool brand, and that matters. But A&M, in addition to the branding problem, Trev Alberts is doing a lousy job. The scorecard says it. It's a bad mix. It's not working. So, of course, college athletics is in this period, and they have money. Okay, we're not talking about somebody looking for loose change in the couch kind of thing. They've got money. So I know, and he's pretty open and public about, oh, things are going to change and we've got to find money and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, everybody except Texas, I guess, is chasing for some money. I get that. But you're measured in this day and age if you can afford it and they can afford it. Money is not the excuse at A&M. So you are measured as a boss. You are measured as an athletic department in order. Football, by far, basketball, and then I think you can make a pretty good case if you're in the SEC, baseball as well. And for A&M, it's been an embarrassing mess in all three, and their boss, Trev Alberts, has to take ownership. I'm not saying he's avoiding it. I'm not saying he's a bad guy publicly. He's not a jackass publicly. That doesn't matter. The scorecard is the scorecard. So post Jimbo Fisher, think about this. Post Jimbo Fisher, and everybody gets that it was a disaster. Got it. Yes, sure. The Aggies football program, I remember saying at the time, you need a splash. You need to make noise. It's a world of noise. It's a world of players chasing sex appeal. It's a world of teenagers chasing money and cool stuff. You need a splash. They hired a coach from Duke. He lost 4 of his final games, including an uninspiring, and that's being generous, effort against Texas at home. A&M never challenged in that game. It was awful. He said as much. It was awful. It was a total buzzkill. Then they have a meltdown late against a mediocre USC team in the Las Vegas Bowl. And I'm not going to say that Mike Elko, their head coach, deserves to get fired. I don't think that at all. He deserves time. But here's the thing. As you keep slipping on the radar screen of branding, Texas keeps getting to the playoff semifinal. Texas will go into next season as a preseason top 3. A&M is stuck in meh. Texas sells big money. Texas is big money. It's flashy. It's obnoxious. It's so flashy. They sell big money. They sell draft picks. They sell fast cars. And they have an ultra famous quarterback. It's just all the kind of noise you need to make. A&M is like Dollar General or something. The brand doesn't break through. So then you get to, okay, football. Oh, but Jeff, give it time. Okay, all right. I mean, sure. We'll see. This is not about Mike Elko yet. It's about his boss. Trev Alberts then inherits I think most people would say, an interesting and feisty basketball coach in Buzz Williams. Quirky guy. Makes some noise, gets a lot of sound bites, that kind of stuff. And so he goes, in 6 years at A&M? Something like 120-73, 2-3 in the NCAA tournament. Then it was embarrassing, right? Bad for the brand again. Then he openly campaigns for another job. And guess what? He gets it. Then he leaves A&M for Maryland. You needed to hang on to that guy. You did. Nobody's saying you're Carolina. Nobody's saying you're Duke. That's not the issue. He was good for the brand. He had been successful. You didn't need to lose the guy. And the way he went out was a bad look for A&M. In the process, I remember this, ESPN analyst Seth Greenberg, a longtime coach in college basketball himself, pretty much went public in blaming Trev Alberts for the whole thing. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. It doesn't matter. The look is bad. It's a bad look for A&M. The guy wanted out. He waved his arms. He wanted out. And then he got out and went to Maryland. That's a bad look for them. It's a really bad look for Trev Alberts. Then, arguably the most embarrassing part of his time at Texas A&M, again, you can't connect the dots and say it's all his fault, but it's all on his watch, is the embarrassing baseball coach issue. Which I don't think, and I know people would pile on me. I'm not blaming all that on the Jim Schlossnagle debacle. He wanted out no matter what, but it's still on Trev Alberts' watch. So the Aggies are an eyelash away from being College World Series champions. They made it to the toughest league in the country. In the postgame loss, as many people remember, Jim Schlossnagle had a ridiculous 2-year-old like tantrum and raged at reporters for asking if he was leaving A&M for Texas. He flipped out. For better or worse, no matter how successful that guy is, that news conference will always be out there. He snaps at reporters for even asking the question, oh, you're going to leave A&M for Texas. The next evening, he was meeting in secret with Texas, and of course, he left for Texas. He got more money, more history, and it's cooler. And guess what? It worked for him. A&M starts the year as the preseason number 1. They go into complete free fall and finish out of the tournament for the first time since, I think, 2021. And Jim Schlossnagle, not publicly at least, just the look of it, rubbed their nose in it by being named Coach of the Year, and Texas is the favorite to win the College World Series. At A&M, I looked this up, A&M finished 172nd in batting average, 125th in scoring, 126th in home runs. A year ago, they were 8th in the country in home runs. Okay, again, I'm not saying that basketball or baseball is not the badge. It's not how your athletic department is measured, but it's just one thing after another that's not working. So Trev Alberts, who was a soft-spoken, sensible, decent guy, he was a fabulous college football player. Over the weekend, he was asked about their baseball program. Is he going to fire his first-year coach? I don't know. It sounds like it. It sounds like he might. Sounds like when somebody says, the boss says, I want to revisit this. Yeah, but okay. Then he's going to have another chance to make another hire. You see where this is going. I mean, these are your people, man. So losing the baseball coach, the head that went to Texas, I don't think it's all his fault. I mean, he wanted that anyway. He wanted the shinier brand. But it's another chaotic coaching move for the AD. This is about the AD. Think about his hires, okay? He's got a guy from Duke. He's got a guy from Samford. I didn't say Stanford. I said Samford with an M. And then he promotes a baseball coach who is in his first coaching job. Now, I don't think he had much of a choice. Don't get me wrong. It's just the way that thing went down. It was embarrassing. It was a bad look. Brand appeal, especially now, I guess you could say, in college sports, it's tough. Especially when the richest, flashiest program around is right down the road, constantly making noise. Right? I mean, Texas sucks up the oxygen in the college football space. They have the most money. They spend the most money. They make the most noise. They have the most famous quarterback, the biggest name the sport has seen. They really suck up a lot of oxygen, and that matters now. And I don't know how Trev Alberts or A&M plans to fix this, but I tell you what, at some point, it's got to come back to him. You've got to say, hey, man, something's got to work soon. There's got to be a splash somewhere along the way. Because right now, I know I'll get the blowback. I know. To some people, you're just not allowed to criticize them. But at some point, you've got to realize A&M is not getting it right. They don't seem to be able to get it right. And then even worse, the guy who's the boss, these are his hires, he can't get it right. At least the scorecard so far says he can't get it right. He's not getting it right. And it matters. It matters a lot. They want to win desperately. They should be better. No one can argue that. They should be a lot better.